This is Paul Tandy, Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers. Thank you very much for tuning into my channel. Please subscribe to it and hit the notification button for all up-to-date immigration news. And I will do my best to keep you appraised with any of the news as it happens. Today I'm going to be revisiting a subject which has not gone away as far as activists are concerned, but seems to have gone quiet on the public front, which is the need for an immigration amnesty. Now, I've done lots of videos on this and I maintain that there is a viable need for an amnesty, given the large number of not only irregular migrants in the United Kingdom, people that have been here for a long period of time, but also the mess that is being made of the EUSS scheme and the number of appeals and EU nationals that have been in the United Kingdom. There's also another massive reason, which essentially is as we come to the end of the pandemic and the country needs to get itself back on its feet economically, it is better to use the people that are in the United Kingdom. So there is still a pressing need for an amnesty, and really the only way it's going to ever happen, and it will take some pushing, is for people to get in touch with their MPs and to ask to speak to them and get them to write to the Home Secretary. It is something that did get close to the Home Office saying that they would consider a targeted amnesty, but this was only after the new immigration bill. Now, if we turn to the new immigration bill, very recently, I think it was yesterday, the House of Lords rejected Priti Patel's new plan for immigration in respect of criminalising refugees, which is something which is to be welcomed. So I will keep you again updated in respect of what happens with the immigration bill and whether it becomes law and whether refugees will be criminalised, something I think which is wrong when it happens. Now, turning away from the issue of an amnesty and looking at the issue as to whether people can find another way to remain in the United Kingdom. Often, I've had people come to me seeking advice on when or if an amnesty is going to take place. And when talking to them, I discover that they actually do have a viable application that they can make, that they can get a visa if they make an application. So this video is really designed for those people that actually are in the country unlawfully and are frightened, quite naturally frightened, due to the hostile environment. Now, there are a number of routes that applications one can make in country that they may involve an appeal, which can lead to a visa being granted, whether there's an amnesty or not. There's also a benefit to making an application because at least one will be registered with the Home Office, so that if an amnesty is announced, it will be a lot easier for people that are on the Home Office's books to qualify, rather than those people who are not. Now, the usual types of application where people succeed are where, for example, they're in a relationship with somebody, they're either married to them and they have a British child. Now, in those circumstances, that type of application generally wins. The other routes include where the family have lived in the United Kingdom for a long period of time and they have a child that's lived here for over 7 years and is established in the United Kingdom. Indeed, the immigration rules under paragraph 276 ADE provide for those individuals to remain in the United Kingdom. Another route that I found successful in making applications is for people that face what are called insurmountable obstacles or exceptional circumstances. Now, this covers a wide spectrum of factors, and the most common is that of health. There are a lot of people in the United Kingdom that suffer quite significant health problems, whether they be physical or mental. Now, they do have in my view, a viable application to make if it's supported by the correct evidence, because the United Kingdom cannot simply remove someone to a country where there is not adequate health care or where the person is not going to access adequate health care. So often people come to me and they think they have no case, but upon evaluation it turns out that the person has some quite deep and profound problems, which, if evidenced, can lead to a visa being granted. And this has happened to a large number of people. There are also people that have been in the country for 20 years or just under 20 years and have established good ties to the United Kingdom. They also have a reasonable case. So as well as what I would say is, whilst we can hope and push for an amnesty, there are other routes, applications that can be made, and indeed I'll advise you on whether the application has any prospect of success, which can lead to a visa. In short, if there are children involved, and if children are British, then that makes for a strong application. If there are children involved and they've been living in the United Kingdom for more than 7 years, that makes for a strong application. If there are individuals with health concerns and those health concerns cannot adequately be met abroad, they have a strong application. Also, people that have been in the United Kingdom for a long period of time and have quite intensive ties to the United Kingdom, they also have an application which is capable of succeeding. So there are, the immigration rules, whilst drafted, are quite prohibitive. It is quite possible to get somebody, and I have done this for a large number of people, a visa by applying for leave to remain either under the family life route or under the human rights route. So whilst we hope for an amnesty, which essentially is plan for the worst and hope for the best, there is the possibility for people to regularise their status. What of course people need to do, and if you're living in fear and you are worried about your immigration status, is to get advice. And I'm more than happy to provide any such advice. So at the moment, whilst the amnesty issue seems to have been frozen somewhat, one can hope that it may come in. And if it does come in, it is likely to come in after the government enacts the new immigration bill, because there will be a huge backlog of cases and no one's really going to be removed. But if there isn't going to be an amnesty, you may well be living in fear, you may well be living under the hostile environment when you do not need to. So in short, I would advise anyone that's in the country irregularly, if they've been here for more than 10 years or so, particularly if there are health concerns or children involved, to get in touch with me and I'll do my best to advise them. This is, as I say, a general video because I thought I'd pick up on the earlier amnesty videos I've done, but also highlight that there are other routes to getting a visa in the UK. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll be producing more shortly. Do take care of yourself during the pandemic, and I wish you the best. This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers.